Welcome to Book Thots, brand lifestyle podcast. We are thoughts for books, and these are our thoughts on books. I'm Jenna,
I'm Emily.
And I'm Adriana.
three sisters stripping down one book at a time. Today, we are stripping down Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber with a very special guest, Rachel, from the podcast Menuscript. Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Hi,
Thank you so much for having me. We met at Enchanticon. I don't know if you guys have talked about that on your podcast. It was super, super fun. And then yeah, since then I've kind of been trying to go back and forth, coordinating a time to do an episode together. So very excited that it's finally happening.
Yeah, we are stoked. I mean, as soon as we left Enchanticon, we are like, that's such a brilliant idea.
It really
Who
is.
doesn't love food and books?
Yeah. Thank you. Two of my favorite things.
Before we jump in, we do have a content warning. Today's podcast is rated mature. We are book thoughts after all, so we're going to be using adult language, talking about adult topics, so please pay attention to who may be listening near you. Additionally, this episode is going to contain spoilers for Alchemy of Secrets, so please check those chapter markers if you haven't read it. Lastly, I'm just going to apologize ahead of time. Maybe we, but definitely Jenna and I will at least mispronounce a name or place. Now, Rachel, before we jump into well, we call it a strip down. I think maybe you call it a recap. But before we do you want to just let the audience know about your podcast?
Yeah, so as we sort of mentioned a moment ago, it's about books and food. It's called The Menuscript. And I started it mainly because I love to read and talk about books, but none of my friends were reading the same books that I was reading. So I was like, well, just going to talk to myself. And it's been really fun. And in the almost 2 years that I've been doing it, actually 2 year anniversary is coming up in April of 2026. I've started, having more guests on, whether that's authors, other podcasters, friends that I do manage to wrangle into reading a book with me, usually with the promise of a meal attached to it. And yeah, so what I do is I talk about the excellent books and super authors out there and always pair a meal or snack to share with the book throughout the episode. And you can find the manuscript on all the places that the pods are cast.
I like that.
Perfect.
All right, well then we'll let you jump into that recap for Alchemy of Secrets.
Before we munch on those thought-provoking discussions questions, we'll do a quick little recap of Alchemy of Secrets. And as the girls said a little while ago, if you haven't read the book yet and you want these things to stay a secret, you may want to leave and then return to the kitchen once you're ready. We will all be here. So, Stephanie Garber brings an element of fantasy to Hollywood in this magical realism story. Our main character is Holland, the daughter of a famous Hollywood screenwriter. She took a folklore and legends class in college with a beloved professor. It became one of her favorite classes, and it set her on a mission to find one of these legends in real life. And she thinks she's found one, the folklore of the Watchman, who, when asked the right question, will tell you when you will die. Not how, just when. So when Holland encounters the Watchman, she is on a date with her relatively new boyfriend, Jake. She tells him about the class and the Watchman, and they decide to put their names down and hopefully hear back from the Watchman. So if you're looking for date ideas, here you go. Meanwhile, Holland's professor is missing. So she gets a new advisor, a young man named Adam. Neither Adam nor Holland is really happy about this, but here we go. Academia's got an academic. Meanwhile, at home, Holland receives a mysterious lockbox connected to a bank. A note attached to the box claims that the box was given to her by her father and that she needs to come to the bank to look at it the next day. The bank name and the box are part of another folklore legend that she learned about. So, what are the odds that she would run into two legends within 24 hours of each other? Holland thinks about calling her twin sister, January, to see if she knows anything about their, now deceased father and the mysterious box, but she doesn't get the chance because Jake calls first. He's panicked because the Watchman called him. He's going to die later that night. Jake asks her to come over just to be with him, since he really only went along with the Watchman thing in the first place to impress Holland. Learning when you'll die on a date seems to raise, red flag to a whole new level. But the Watchman did say that if Jake kills Holland, he can extend his lifeline. So Holland starts to run away. Jake chases after her, but the clock does not quite strike midnight, but whatever time it was for Jake, clock strikes. Holland turns around and she sees dead Jake on the ground. She feels something is off, aside from the dead boyfriend. She finds a document revealing that Jake is not even a real identity. He was hired to trick her to become her boyfriend and get close to her. Understandably, Holland feels sick. So, now the red flags, which had been thrown out the window by Jake learning when he was going to die, are totally back on the table because this guy has a fake identity. Now the Watchman contacts Holland. She's going to die the next day around midnight. If she wants to extend her lifeline, she needs to find the alchemical heart and bring it to him. Doesn't tell her what it is, doesn't tell her where it is. He just says, bring it to me. Also doesn't tell her where he is, so he's not helpful at all. The police are on their way to Jake's house because Jake is dead. Holland's car won't start, and a man arrives, grabs her, and says her sister sent him to help her. He introduces himself as Gabe. Holland feels like she doesn't have a lot of choices left. She gets into Gabe's car, starts asking him questions. He doesn't really answer them, but mostly just tells her that she's dead because no one has seen the alchemical heart for years. On the way to Gabe's place, they run into Adam, who also happens to know all about the legends and folklore. Things escalate and Gabe shoots Adam. The next morning, Holland goes to the bank for her appointment and finds the missing professor. The professor reveals that she's been using the class to find gifted and magical students, just like Holland. The professor also reveals that January works for the bank, which Holland had no idea about. The professor offers to work with Holland as long as she can have whatever is in that lockbox. Full of revelations, the professor says she knows all about Gabe, that he's a dangerous man, Holland shouldn't be around him, and especially because the rumor is that Gabe killed his wife to gain her magic. Holland goes to look at the box, finds her father's final screenplay. She grabs the manuscript, runs out of the bank, but does not go back to Gabe. She now doesn't trust him. Instead, she finds a miraculously recovered Adam, who tells her that he is also working with her sister January and that they both work at the bank. Holland's kind of surprised. She didn't know her sister worked there or that she knew about the legends or that Adam or Gabe or any of these men existed. Holland, now she's starting to be a little more wary, wants to know some more about Adam before working with him and trusting him, so she wants to know some of the rumors. Adam admits that he, casually used to be the devil and that he and his brother Mason tricked people into giving them magic. But then Mason backstabbed him, leaving Adam with nothing. The two decide to follow her father's clues and go to the old movie studio, believing that's where he left something behind. And they're hoping it's going to be the alchemical heart because time's ticking. When they get there, Gabe is also there and finds the mysterious object first, but doesn't take it. Holland then looks at the object. It's a pencil, which meant nothing to Gabe, but it does mean something to Holland. It references a bowling alley that she and her father used to go to. Now, who should be working next to the bowling alley but the brother of the devil, Mason? Instead of confronting Mason, they run into Gabe, who has been following them to the next clue. They all go searching for the heart. That's when we find Mason. He claims that Holland needs to be careful around Adam because Adam will be the one who hurts her. Turns out all this searching was for naught. Holland has had the alchemical heart the entire time. It's in a necklace her father gave her years before this book even starts. And when she figures this out, Adam sees the realization that, she's putting the pieces together. He stabs her, tries to take the necklace. So Mason was right, but it's too late and the day is over. The alchemical heart has now moved locations and it won't be found again for quite some time. But along with the heart moving, Holland has survived because her death date is officially over, and so is the book. Book Thoughts, did you have any thoughts you wanted to add?
Just at the end, the alchemical heart, she does find it again in the professor's journal that she has in that backpack, and it's actually
Oh,
manifested
yes, that's
into the living person because it's sentient. And it is actually the messenger that she met at the very beginning of the book that handed her the package with the professor's journal in it. That was the alchemical heart the whole freaking time. Then she uses it to gain herself
An
an
ability.
ability instead of find out where her missing sister is, which I knew that was gonna be what she did, but it's not. Nope. She
Mhm.
doesn't even ask about the truth of anything. She just gets an ability, and then she says the line to the alchemical heart so that it will disappear and only reappear to someone who will use it once and only because of necessity, not because they want to. So the devils don't get the heart. Or
Where's January the whole time?
Yeah,
I
she gets mentioned a lot, but I don't think we ever actually
Yeah,
for a
meet.
main character, she
that makes me
never shows up in the
nervous.
book.
As a twin sister, that would make me nervous. I'd be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"No, that is definitely the, mystery we also need to uncover at the same time."
Yes, I definitely questioned, like, "Is January alive? Like, where is
That
this girl?"
I was like, "Is she even real, though? Or is this just Holland, like,
Oh.
making something up?" But no, I think she was real.
Yeah, I thought she was maybe an illusion at some point. You introduced her in a phone call, and she's the one hiring all these people. Surely by the end of the
Mhm.
book, we're gonna meet her. And I
Yeah.
guess that's a question I have for you. I do little to no research, emphasis on no research on a book when I'm about to read it because I like to just be completely surprised by it. Is this
Mhm.
like a part of a trilogy? Is it a standalone? Is it a duology? Do you know anything if it's like on its own?
Sure, I know Stephanie Garber has written other like, I think she has 2 other trilogies, so
Okay.
she definitely does write series, but I was under the impression that this was a standalone.
Let's jump into the questions that we have about the book that she left us with. Oh, actually, my first question was, does anybody have a favorite urban legend since we learned quite a few during our reading? I'm not huge on urban legends, so I don't even have one unloaded.
I don't think so, I mean, the college I went to, we certainly had, a myth that one of our buildings was haunted. I never really bought into it. That said, I never really was there alone at night, so,
Exactly.
you
I was
know?
gonna say all of mine are like specific to places that wouldn't
Yeah.
be known by like the whole audience. But yeah, especially when you're younger, I feel like you definitely follow those urban legends. And like, I
Well,
remember being in high school and there was like a bridge that was called Crybaby Bridge because a woman supposedly like threw her baby off the bridge. So if you went there at night, you could hear the baby crying. So as a teenager, you go out there and then you kind of like you and your friends kind of like get each other to like, "Oh, do you hear that? I don't know, do you hear that? You hear that?" So, like, urban legends like that for sure, but with something as, crazy as The Watchmen, I don't think I ever experienced that, and I don't know if I ever do. Would you guys wanna know the time that you died?
No, I don't think I'd go searching for the Watchman, but I did really enjoy, like, the Easter egg hunting that she
Mhm.
did through and, like, that her father put her through seemingly to, like, train her for this hunt that she went on.
mhm, like, I love scavenger hunts and, like, escape rooms and stuff, so that's very, like, up my alley, but no, I don't think I would wanna know when I was gonna die.
No, because then you kind of lit like, you're supposed to live like you die tomorrow, but, like, if you actually knew the date, would you try to avoid things that I don't even know if I'd wanna know the thing that could save me too, because the watchman had, every call, he's like, "And if you do this one thing, you can
Oh, yeah.
extend your time," or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't even think I'd no, I'm hanging up the call immediately. I also wouldn't get very far in this book to begin with because I would not get in the car with,
Gabe.
Oh, that's what
Gabe.
I said.
Yeah.
I said, "Would you get in the car with Gabe or stay and risk it with the cops?"
I don't know, I feel like I'm such a like, in so many ways, such a rule follower, like, I'm not running from the authorities. Yeah, I don't
I
even
don't
know if I
know.
would've made it that far, like, Jake might have killed me, so
I
no,
wouldn't
I
have
have a different addendum to that. When Jake calls, which I think is our next question, would you all have gone to Jake? I'm very much, like, not a homebody, like, I go out and about, but, like, past a certain time of night, if I didn't already have plans to go out, it's not happening, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
if it's like 10 o'clock, which I think it's pretty late when Jake calls her, sorry, no. Like, by that
Yeah.
point, I'm in bed, probably reading a book, nice and cozy, not going outside,
the
which
way that
also might be
he
why I'm still
guilts
single.
her The way that he guilts her though, like, to come, he's like, "Well,
Yes.
I only did it because of you. I was trying to impress you." I'm
Yeah.
like, "No." Also, I already had the feeling as the reader, and I feel like I would have as, Holland too, that he only wants me there because he's gonna get to live if he does something, and I'm part of the key. So I'm like, I'm not doing that.
I thought when he wasn't texting that he was already dead. Like, I thought that he was already dead, but when he called, I think I would have been like, "I don't know what you want me to do about this. Like, you need to call 911 if you think you're in danger, you should probably call the authorities." And also, if there's a book 2 to this, is it her in prison because her fingerprints are over every
Everywhere.
single crime scene.
Yeah.
She left her shoes, like,
That's
is
all
it
I could
just
think about is the left shoes. Like,
Yeah.
that's not mysterious. Oh, those belong to your ex-girlfriend or girlfriend? Interesting.
I guess someone with abilities could be like, "And you weren't there."
I would have never stayed and risked it with the cops knowing that my number's on Jake's phone. They
Yeah.
know, like, he just called me.
Yep.
Now my fingerprints are everywhere, and my shoes are there,
Your
and,
car is
like,
in the parking lot. Let me
there's
just point that out.
there's blood trail everywhere that obviously my shoes were a part of,
Yeah.
and now, like, no, I'm not staying with the cops, but I don't know. I probably would have gotten the car with Gabe.
I think that that's a good segue to the next question is did you guys at any point trust anyone, even the book? Because I didn't even trust the main protagonist at any point. Those nosebleeds, it was a dead giveaway that something was off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely started out very gullible, like, I tend to trust the narrators or the main characters and everything, so but then probably, I don't know, around, like, halfway, when everyone was lying and it was, like, hard to tell who was saying what, I was like, "Okay, I'm just taking everything with a grain of salt at this point." So when the professor showed up, I was like, "Can't believe anything she says," which had to
Uh-huh.
be hard for Holland because that was, like, the one person that, like, she knew prior to the story starting and obviously, like, looked up to her so much, like, having these classes with her, like, she only knew as much about all these legends as she does because of the professor, but then, like, she does start to question, like, "Well, wait, like, I'm hearing mixed things," and everyone was very slick, which I feel like, again, brings us back to January, like, what where how does
She for
she really factor into all of this? Does she really work for the bank? Like, why
What
couldn't
does the
she finally
tattoo mean that the bank gets? Like, what does is the bank the good guy or the bad guy? We're kind of fed like it's
But
the
even
bad
Gabe
guy,
had
but
it.
yeah, so many people had the tattoo that represented you worked for the bank, and then also Holland kind of forgives January or comes up for an excuse for her lying to her so much. I don't think I'd be as forgiving. I'd be like, "You're my twin sister and you didn't tell me any of this?"
Yeah. It felt like a fever dream to me the
Yeah.
entire time. I felt like that's why I couldn't trust any information that was given in small details because everything that was laid out had a connecting thread somewhere else that was still yet to be revealed. And so then once you finally, chapters later, got some aspect of it, like that's, I think, what became that mystery, like puzzle piece that you were putting together, which was cool, but like I never felt like I had all the facts.
I feel like
I
it
think was
was a
kind of
fever
the
dream.
the point, like, you were supposed to be, like, kind of trying to piece things together, but there were also
Hmm.
so many pieces you didn't even know about, so, like, as the reader, you really couldn't piece things together. Like, I'll be very curious if I ever do reread it to see, like, "Oh, okay, here's where, like, the tracks were being laid down for this, and here's where
Yes.
this happened," and, I haven't read her other books, so I don't know necessarily, like, how she does her foreshadowing and setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It
glad
was
you
a lot of
recommended
fun.
this book because it's so different than what I usually read, and I tell them all the time, I say it on the podcast all the time, I don't wanna pick a book, I want someone to just tell me to read it, and I don't wanna do any research, I don't even need to know the genre, I just wanna start reading it and just be surprised the whole time, like a roller
Yeah.
coaster, I'm just along for the ride.
This almost didn't have the same feel, but just because of the fever dream aspect, that bunny book
Oh,
is
I hadn't
I
very
read that,
know.
yeah,
like
you
you don't
recommend
know
that.
what's going on by Mona Awad. It's so good.
Emily and I actually texted about that though. It's like our brains were trying to put the pieces together and we're like, wait, we don't even have any information to
Yeah.
go off of to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
But I liked that because I felt like that's where Holland was, and I like to be in the same place as my main character.
Yeah, like it wasn't first person narrative, but you really do feel like you're in Holland's mind experiencing a lot of this with her. And what you were just saying about all the pieces, it's almost like someone gives you a puzzle, but they don't give you like the box or a picture of what the
That's
completed
exactly what I
puzzle
was saying.
is
Oh my
supposed to
gosh,
look
that's
like. So like, you know,
exactly the analogy Emily used. She said, "Okay, so they gave us a puzzle, but the whole thing's white and we don't know what to do with it."
And it definitely felt like it Fever Dream extra when it talked about like the colors melting off the
Mhm.
plants. I feel like that's how in
Mhm.
any book or movie, you're in like almost a different dimension or a different world. And I don't know if you've watched Stranger Things, but in Stranger Things, there's like if this bad character like takes over your mind, his name is Vecna, a clock will like go off, like one of those old school grandfather clocks
Oh.
that have like your grandparents had, like the chime of it will go off. And every time she got a nosebleed, like while I was reading, I could hear like, even though it says nothing about a clock chiming, just in my mind, I was like, I can hear the clock chiming. It kind of has like where the camera zooms out and twists
Mhm.
at the same time.
I really appreciated that, like, every time we got a description of a place of the meeting for the class or anything, it was like you were physically being transported back into time.
Yeah.
I think she did that
Yes.
very well. And laying that out, it kind of felt like that's what she was trying to do all along with that time loop of changes that we weren't really sure what was real and what wasn't.
The place that the hotel, I can't remember what it was called, but you only get to if you have a key, you only get to go, and it showed up on the billboard, and they mysteriously got to go to the magical realm to this hotel, and I just called it Hotel California because that's what
Is
it
it
is
like
to
the
me.
Beverly Hotel?
I think that's
Um,
where
I
they met the timekeeper. I think
the
that
Beverly
Oh,
Hotel
that was
Oh,
a
okay.
was
Roosevelt.
real,
Okay.
and that's where the Watchman was.
yeah, the Watchman.
It wasn't
Timekeeper,
part of the
Watchman.
it wasn't part of the magical realm, it was separate. If you got to go to the magical realm hotel, where time slips by differently than in the real world, and you could, you know, extend your life and maybe not die on midnight at Halloween because the times don't match up, would you stay there or are you leaving?
I think I'm too curious to know what happens on the other side. I don't think I'm staying. Anytime like books or shows messes with time, I kind of get like weary about it. I don't know. Plus, it's he like pulls her into the hotel in his room in a way that I'm like leaving the first second I get, other than using his little knob that can get whatever snack I want.
Oh, that was
That was hilarious.
yeah. What would show up at your mini bar right now?
An epidural and a due date.
I would say either peanut M&Ms or something sour and gummy, but I can't decide if I would want Sour Patch or like sour straws.
I want hot Cheetos right now.
Ooh, that wins.
I definitely never turn down peanut M&Ms, but I've lately been on those like popcorner
Oh,
chips.
yes.
I've been
Yeah.
on like a huge kick of those, so probably those in the kettle corn flavor.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
The cinnamon dusted ones are my guilty pleasure. Those are
See, they don't have those at
amazing.
Aldi, so I haven't gotten them.
Ooh. I think I
I
found
may have
mine
to
at
find
Target.
Okay, I'll have to look. That
Check
sounds really
another
good.
local grocery store because they're really good. And they're not like too dusted, you know?
I love
That's
all of
good. Yeah,
them.
sometimes the flavorings can be a little intense. I used to be a
Yeah.
teacher, like, right when Takis were taking off and kids would have fingers that were all sorts of crazy
Mm.
colors from those
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
The blue ones. Ugh.
I actually highlighted at the very beginning of the book, page 2, when it's like 10 cents for popcorn, 15 cents for popcorn with butter, and 25 cents for cigarettes if you smoke. And I was just like, man, do I wish that was still the prices at the theater. 15 cents, yeah, load my popcorn up with butter.
Yeah.
And then it also made me think, and it's going to be too late for this episode when it airs, but in 2 days, the Cinemark movie theater is doing like a promotion where you can bring any sized bucket and fill it up for $5 of popcorn.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Like, I'm bringing a storage
Wow.
container.
Yeah.
I know. What a like I don't know how much money they're about to lose. I don't know the going rate for a pound of popcorn, but it can't
So
be
see, I
much,
feel like
right?
Yeah.
popcorn is pretty cheap, so
Mm-hmm.
it's that they're not, I feel like, gonna lose much money on the popcorn when you think about, like, everything they're gonna make on the tickets.
And you
Oh,
still
yeah.
have to pay $5 to get the pop. I mean, I feel like popcorn takes like 2 cents for every 100 gallons or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not too expensive.
No.
So they're doing a great job there trying to bring people in.
Oh, yeah.
It's their candy
Yeah.
and their water or drinks that are just
So
a little too pricey.
Well, and speaking of drinks, do you guys think that a sidecar is an appropriate drink for the devil?
Well, I've never had one. And we, in the spirit of Menuscript, we all have either a mocktail or a sidecar with us. And I'm going to try the sidecar right now so I can answer the question.
Okay.
Yes.
This is probably not a realistic, accurate read here. Made it so strong.
It is very strong.
How
Okay.
was the sidecar and the mocktail?
It is way too sweet for me to picture that being the drink for the devil.
Yeah.
That is not for me. I think the devil needs something like very smoky
Yeah.
or a dark liquid.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Well, I
Maybe
was
like a
gonna
really
say-
dry wine.
Yeah.
Even that, yeah.
Or I thought when the watchman was pouring the black tea for the devil, at that point I thought he was the devil. It wasn't confirmed quite yet, but I thought it was like warm blood or something like
Yeah.
that. My mind kind of went there.
I think of like a smoky old fashioned. That way, like you can see the dripping of like the cherry juice or the
Yeah.
syrup. So then that kind of makes it more a little bit darker.
Emily said absinthe earlier when we were talking about it. And I think that's also an appropriate drink. Like it's weird and dark and it gets you drunk really quickly. Could make you hallucinate.
So being in Wisconsin, the old fashions are definitely pretty popular here. So I could see that being the devil's drink of choice.
Devilish. Little
Drink
devilish
of choice.
Devilicious.
I immediately, when she was with Adam in the beginning and he showed up and she thought he was just another undergrad or grad student and he ended up being the professor that she was supposed to meet, I was like, he's the devil. He's the devil. And then she got
Yeah.
a nosebleed and I was like, he's the devil. And then when it switched in the book from being Gabe who was helping her to being Adam who was helping her, I was like, this is so freaking weird.
Yeah.
Like, why is she going along with this now? Like, January
She was
sent
just
Adam the
trusting
whole time.
everybody.
It was
Yeah,
so
she was very
bizarre.
trustworthy. And also, I still don't know, who is Gabe? Like, what is his story?
Why
Like,
is he
They
in
all
there?
knew about him though. Like they all
Yeah.
recognize
You're like,
each other.
oh, Gabe, the widower?
And then, Mason was like, when you come in with Gabe, I never talk to you. And, like, things end up differently.
I need more answers at this point in time.
Yeah, there's not enough answers.
But honestly, kudos to her for having finished a single book like that and still leaving us like questioning reality in that sense.
And we never know,
Mhm.
even in the epilogue, we don't know her ability, right?
No, she doesn't know. She doesn't have it yet in the
Okay.
epilogue.
I just want to make sure.
That was one of my questions was, what do we think? Do we have any predictions as to what Holland's ability would be? Because it's the alchemical heart said it's supposed to like grab something from within you and like elevate it. or
Yeah,
whatever.
I was just gonna ask, like, is it something? Have you guys read the Empyrean books?
Yes.
Like, I wasn't sure if it was gonna be something like the signet, how it manifests in like what you most need,
Right.
or if it's more of a projection of like something you already have. Because like Holland, this girl is way too gullible. Like she needs an ability that lets her know
Yes.
who's telling the truth.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if
Yes.
it'd be something like that. Or if it has to be something already within her, like she's already really good at putting, I feel like at putting pieces together and like
Or her
chasing.
dad could read minds, and she thinks at some point like her
Mm.
nosebleed is having to do with reading minds. But then I guess we find out that the nosebleed's just because of the time.
I thought her
Did-
dad didn't get his ability through his family because he was going to die at such a young age.
He didn't, but when he did get his ability, it was like something about predicting the future. Like he got it from the heart, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had one from the heart about predicting the future. Yes.
Yeah. So I kind of wonder if it was something like that. I don't know. I agree with you 100%. It doesn't matter what she thinks she might get. It needs to be like she's a human lie detector.
Yeah.
I kind of think that it's going to be she gets to continue the legends as the storyteller. Like, she's gonna
Ooh.
Like the
be
professor almost in
yeah.
a sense?
Yeah, because she just
Because she
had
still has the
such
book, doesn't she?
She does have the professor's book
That's
still,
true.
and she just has such a passion for that I think that that's what she's gonna get.
If there was a second book in this and it's her 15 years down the road and she needs the book again because she said it's someone who needs it, someone who'll use it for good.
Mm-hmm.
Use
And
it
then-
only once and out of necessity, not out of want or
Yeah,
something like that.
Right.
And then she's also with Gabe.
I think that was so frustrating. She had the phone with only Gabe and January's numbers in it, and she's not calling either one. I'm like, girl, do something. She's like, oh, I just think about Gabe all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to him.
Yeah, is January being held captive? Like, this girl has not been able to get a phone call through to her sister's lifeline, and I'm very concerned.
Well, the one brother at the very end goes, there's a reason why you're here and not your sister. And then there's
The one
nothing
that
else said.
The one
Yeah.
that was a ghost for probably thousands of years and knows Holland so well, but we get no backstory to go with that either, with either person.
I know, maybe almost instead of a sequel, I'd almost want, like, a prequel or, like, a story of Mason and
yes.
Adam of, like, how did they get here? Like, where are they from? Like, what is going on? So, like, just another book within this world that she's created, but Holland doesn't really even have to be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
or,
sure.
Or like, did her parent it's alluded that her parents did make a deal with one of them, but did they? You have a question on there that's like, how did Mason the ghost hire Jake? Like, how was anyone hired?
Yeah.
Would be my question. Because he does explain like the only reason why she can see him is because she's died. So how is
Mm.
he communicating to everybody else? Is he leaving little ghostly notes around the hotel? Like, you are hired, job wanted, job needed.
Yeah, so you're thinking, like, almost like, you'd almost wanna see, like, an origin story of the bank?
That would be
Mm.
cool because the bank gave me like creepy vibes.
I mean, that is the one thing we got the most information on, though.
And
I
the
mean,
bank was like a faction off of the other group, wasn't it? Like, they split, I thought they were talking about, but I could be wrong.
yeah, I think you're right.
There's 3 groups.
There was
Yeah.
2 factions and then the bank. And the bank was supposed to be
Like, protecting I don't know.
Okay. Do you guys think that you have an ability that would be unlocked within you if you got the alchemical heart?
Teleportation once again would be a great ability
Oh
to
my gosh, it
have.
really would.
I do love to travel.
You probably would either get that or the ability not to ever sleep.
Red
Hey, that
Bull
could be a
coffee
useful
24/7.
one.
Both of those would be very useful. If you don't have to sleep, imagine the possibilities. You get half your life back.
Yeah.
Don't you sleep for like half your life?
It's a lot of time.
Well,
me
depending
even
on the
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, some of us maybe more.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the teleportation would be pretty cool. I do feel like, and maybe this is again, coming from my past as a teacher, like trying to like read the room of how people are feeling and like gauge emotions. So almost like have an ability to not quite read minds, but I'm blanking on his name, but like one of the vampires in Twilight could like influence how people were feeling, like
Yeah,
if he needed to
like an
de-escalate
Like an
something,
empath.
he could like
Like
kind
an
of calm
empath.
everyone down. I feel like I would want something like that.
That was just in a book in an author interview that we just recently did, and I really liked that too. The like empath ability to help people calm down or what. I love that.
Be very
I'm gonna
useful.
use time just because this whole book was about time, and for once, because I don't want to steal yours because I thought yours was really good, but I'll say that I would like to slip through time every now and then without it affecting my current age so much. Like, if I went to go the future, it wouldn't just like drastically take years off.
So you
but
don't
being
like
able
stay
to, like,
there.
yeah,
You just visit it. You
Yeah.
can visit the future, visit the past.
like I'll be
That'd
the Flash.
interesting.
I can just run there and run back. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Would there be rules?
Where would
Like,
you where
can't-
would you go? Forward or backward?
Yeah.
That's a hard one because I'd want to like explore like past and like future because I think it's important, but I think I would spend more time in the past before I went forward Just because there's so much history, and I feel like we all get one-sided of things anyway, like
Or what if you tried to go forward and you couldn't? Then you know
Yeah.
that your time is coming up.
That's true too.
That would be
That could be,
scary.
like, a
Like,
huge, like,
I'm gonna
limiting
jump 5
factor.
years in the future. What do you why did I only jump 2? What's happening this year that's not happening in 3
Oh
years?
gosh.
Not to get negative on your ability.
No, it's
It's a
fine,
great
it's fine.
ability.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like one that would be in me already is, like, the empath thing,
Yeah.
just to, like, help
Mhm.
people out.
Yeah.
Or your ability to, like, heal, like the
Yeah.
strength of healing
Yeah.
kinda thing, like
Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
warm.
Yeah,
Mm. So something that I always feature in my episodes is my chef's kiss quotes, which are just a line or two from a book that either really like resonated with me. Sometimes it's just one that made me laugh, which is the one in this case. And it is Holland had a fleeting thought that it would be nice if certain relationships came with care instructions like clothing labels for emergency use only. And I was just laughing, picturing like little labels of warnings like floating above people's heads, which I mean, realistically would not be great at all because I don't really want to think about what warning labels would appear over my head. Um,
Yeah.
but it was
We'll
a
cancel
funny,
plans.
once I make a plan, I tend to stick to it.
No, mine would be that.
Oh. That said, I have often been thrilled if other people cancel plans.
Oh, yeah.
Do it. Yeah, that one was really funny. There were some really good lines in this book, that
Oh,
I
yeah.
greatly enjoyed. Did you guys have any? I know you mentioned a few already, but anything that really stuck with you?
I didn't highlight it, so I'm not sure what the exact quote is, but it's the one that she says to the alchemical heart at the end. I just thought
Mm,
it was very good. And it's something about show up for somebody who needs you.
I
I
like
like
that a lot.
the like, 2 of them. One where she's like, Holland knew she wasn't thinking clearly, but that didn't help her think more clearly, and I was just thinking that's so accurate, like, maybe when you're taking a test or it's early in the morning and you're like, "I am just not in this," but knowing that you're just not in this is not enough to get you back in it.
Yeah.
And that's so true and accurate to life. And then the one that I kind of liked that was, I guess, serious is, "What is magic if not something that makes you believe and feel and wonder?" And I
Mm.
like that.
I like that one. I liked the way Stephanie Garber wrote. Like, this is my first book of hers as well. I didn't read Once Upon a Broken Heart or is it Caravel, I think is her other series. But I
Mhm.
like the only one thing that I know I only highlighted in the beginning for sure was her description of, I think it was the cinema, because it reminded me of the Warren so much.
Yeah.
I was like, if I can picture walking into like an old time, that's the one I'm thinking of. There's like I don't know if you're familiar with the Warren Theater. I think they got bought by Regal maybe,
Something like that,
but
yeah.
they look very old-timey as soon as you walk in, and so we have, I think, 2 in Oklahoma, one in, close to us in Broken Arrow, and then another one in Moore, and they're just very popular and famous for that, and so that's kinda what I was picturing the whole time she was, like, in that class or discussing any, like, transportation back into time, the 1920s.
Oh, I really did like how she described the scene of black and white in the
Hotel
hotel
California.
Hotel California, where everything just was black and white, where you stepped into the room and it was seeped of color.
Yeah, that was really neat. All right. So, if you're looking for something to pair with the variety of cocktails that were supplied earlier on in the episode, and you want to skip dinner or you're going to have dessert for dinner, which no judgment, we're sharing a recipe for a chocolate cake. So, baking is, kind of like an alchemical process. And some foods really do feel magical. Chocolate, it's decadent, delicious. We do have some elements of the devil here. If people mention a sinful food, chocolate's probably one of the first ones you think of, and hence the chocolate cake. So you will need 3 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar, 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, not baking powder. They are different, people who are not kitchen familiar. A teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 2 cups of cold water. So, not that I am not a vegan, but if you have vegan friends and you need to bake a cake for them, you can bake this one because it does happen to be completely vegan. As far as gluten-free, I've never done it with any other kind of flour than like all-purpose flour, but I'm sure you can find a substitute and it would work. So all you have to do is mix the dry ingredients together in a large bowl. And in that bowl, you're going to make then 3 wells in the ingredients. Put each of the first 3 liquids, so the vegetable oil, the vinegar, and the vanilla, into a separate well. And then pour the 2 cups of water right over everything and mix thoroughly. And when I say cold, like, you do want to take this water right out of the refrigerator. Don't have it sitting on the counter. Don't ask me why. This is part of the alchemy. It just works. So all you have to do, mix it all up, put it in your baking pan, bake for 50 minutes-ish at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can enjoy this cake plain. It's pretty moist as is. Or you can decorate it with your favorite frosting or a glaze. That is the chocolate cake.
That's my
Yum.
absolute favorite chocolate cake ever, by the way.
That's what we're making for
Amazing.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, seriously. And just in case you wanted to know the ingredients to the sidecar and mocktail that we did earlier, the mocktail is 1 ounce orange juice, 2 ounces white grape juice, 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, an orange slice, and lemon twist to garnish. And then if you were wanting to make the cocktail version, it's 2 ounces of brandy, 1 ounce orange liqueur or triple sec, freshly squeezed lemon juice or lime juice if you got those confused. And you can garnish with lemon and orange twist as well. And then super fine sugar for the rim if you're wanting to go extra, extra. And Jenna, what would you rate it?
I'm not a huge fan of orange juice, and I'm not a huge fan of sweet drinks, so this gets a very low rating for me. But I think a lot of people would actually really enjoy this.
And the mocktail's really good.
Yeah.
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 Oh, this is great.
So chocolate cake and juice.
It honestly makes me now want some donuts and some chocolate cake and just
know.
call it a brunch for dinner, and that's great.
If anyone does want to check out the Menuscript, you can find me on Instagram at the Menuscript, all one word, to see other mouthwatering meals that I'm making and amazing books that I am reading. And that's also where I will post about when there is a new episode. I release episodes every other Tuesday.
Awesome. And we will link all of that in the bio of this show.
All right,
Thank
now
you.
let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Next episode is another special surprise, but that's just because we need to organize our calendar. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials and tune in every Friday on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts for a new episode of
Book Thoughts.